Hey, Jason Palliser here with the No Flipping Excuses channel. And today we're going to talk about documents needed to complete a subject to deal. Subject to meaning when you take over a homeowner's property subject to their existing financing that they have in place. This is a way to control the property without actually buying it. And so it's a very good strategy to have in your weaponry when you're talking to a homeowner trying to find ways to come to a solution that's beyond just the traditional buying the property. So what documents are needed? Okay. And so let's kind of dive into that. So we're going to talk about purchase agreement, quitclaim deed, assignment of interest, mortgage authorization letter, power of attorney potentially, and obviously when you're closing on the transaction to firm everything up, closing statement. I don't think there's much that I need to tell you about that. Yeah, you agree to terms and you can sign a closing statement at the title company level or title attorney if you're a title attorney state. But there's certain documents needed. Now, I'm going to walk you through this. Okay? Just some documents that you may need. When it's all said and done, I'm just giving you what most people in the marketplace utilize, and some of these documents I've utilized to get these type of transactions done. But when I'm done going through that, I'm also going to tell you the streamlined way that I like to do it. Okay. Which involves some of the paperwork that I already previously mentioned, but there's different ways to close this type of transaction. So I mentioned what's needed, but let's kind of dive into that. Well, first, right out of the gate is that you talk to a homeowner, they're in a situation. Again, I just want to kind of paint the problem that's at hand that you're solving as a professional investor with the property owner, right? You're finding a way to be a solution besides just traditional, I want to buy your house. Let's come to a number and write up a contract, right? But starting out, when you do strike a deal on the subject to side of things, you're going to want to draw up a regular old purchase agreement, right? Because you're taking over the financing subject to, or you're taking over the property subject to the financing, but there's also some terms typically that you're going to want to agree to from the standpoint of what are you going to buy this property for if you do execute the right just to make them go away and eliminate the financing that you're taking over. So what you would do is just draw up a regular purchase agreement on the agreed upon terms. This gives you, when you're taking over somebody else's financing that's already in place, the reason that you also want to have a purchase agreement in place is that from time to time, once you take it over, things could change and you just want to execute on the purchase. And if you don't have that, now you're going to have to go back to the property owner. So you want to have that stuff agreed upon ahead of time. So that's just like you would normally do, which is just simply coming to a number that works for you and works for them. Okay. I like to do this, with a future date, as far out as I can push it. Hey, I'm going to take over your financing subject to what you already have in place. And let's come to a number that I can execute and buy at any time. And I like to push that out as far as I can, 4 years, 5 years, whatever they'll agree to. If I just want to exercise the purchase part of it. And so we just come to a number, let's say it's $400,000. And so we just write up a regular old contract and I just put a long future closing date on it, and or sooner if I want. That's one document that I do so that I don't have to go back and forth if I decide to go a different direction with it, or somebody makes me an irresistible offer. I have that in place. So that's one thing that you want to do and have set up ahead of time. I think it's pretty straightforward, self-explanatory, but I'm just kind of giving you some of the reasoning why I would do that. Because a lot of times, even though you put that document in place, you don't ever even use it. Okay. Now, the next thing is that I'll want to have them sign a mortgage authorization letter. Just in case I need to talk to the mortgage company for any reason whatsoever, I want that signed by them ahead of time so that the bank knows that it's okay to speak to me. So that's just a document that we have in place just in case I need to go to the lender for any reason whatsoever. I may use that letter to talk to the bank and say, hey, here's the new address that we want you to send all statements to. You get where I'm going with this? You can't do that, and the bank's not going to talk to you unless you have a mortgage authorization letter signed by the homeowner. So I may say, hey, you know what? I don't want any oopsies here. If I'm taking over the financing and the responsibility, I want a direct pipeline of those monthly statements to come to me. Because what happens once a year, it doesn't always happen. Most of the time it does, though, is that at the end of the year, if the taxes on the property go up, they're going to say, hey, the new payment is, and I don't want to be hunting down. You get where I'm going with this? I don't want to be hunting down the homeowner to say, hey, did you get a new thing? Is it a new statement? Is it an extra $100 a month now because the taxes went up on the property? I want to eliminate that. So I'm going to have a mortgage authorization letter or form signed. Sometimes people call it a borrower authorization letter, either or. The next thing I want to do, just to protect my interests, is have them sign an assignment of interest. So they're assigning their interest in the mortgage to me. So I just have them sign an assignment of interest to me, because again, I'm taking over the property, right? And so that's a document that I like to have in place. Hey, while you're learning, stop for a second and get the book, The Art of Flipping Deals. Here's how easy it is. Just go to the website, theflippingbook.com, and what you're going to have is an instant download on how we flip deal after deal after deal with predictability that others can't find. And if you're liking what we're talking about, don't forget to like, comment, and absolutely, without a doubt, subscribe to the channel, okay? Because we're going to be dropping some more good stuff in the coming weeks and months. So you want to get those as soon as they come out. Now, the other thing that you want to exercise, if you're doing a subject to transaction and you're trying to protect yourself on all bases, is that have them sign a power of attorney for all matters pertaining to the property. So you want to have them sign a power of attorney that gives you the power to make decisions on the property. Again, you're taking over their financing. You're taking over the responsibility of making payments. You probably want to have them sign a power of attorney to give you flexibility to make decisions on that particular property. So these are things that you need to put in place with the homeowner so that you have complete control, and basically strangle every piece of control of that property. Again, on your way to being a solution with the homeowner. Again, we're not just doing this just to take over somebody's property. You're having conversations with the homeowner and they need this and they need that. And taking this over, you may say, hey, I'm going to give you 10 grand to take over the property and I'll take over the payments and blah, blah, blah. So whatever that is, that's in the agreement that you draw up with them. But then the last thing that absolutely beyond a shadow of a doubt that you want to do is you want to have them sign a warranty deed over to you as the new title holder to the property, or just do what we call a quit claim deed. And that's not quick. A lot of people mistake that it's quit, Q-U-I-T, quit claim. So have them sign a quit claim of the property, assigning that property over to you. So basically when they sign that document, which is my favorite document in the whole process here of doing a subject to, is now I'm on title. You get that, right? I'm quitting the claim to this property, and the new person that's laying claim to the property is my company. And I always, and again, just teaching you the documents, but I also want you to understand the dynamic of it, the context of it. So let's dive into the context. Okay, the reason I had them assign title over to me is that I let them know, hey, I'm solving a solution for you and I'm taking over all this responsibility. I'm not going to do that and take over the responsibility and give you some cash up front, then start making some payments, paying the balance down, and then you say, hey, and have nothing security-wise for that. And then you say, hey, thanks for getting me out of my pickle. And I really appreciate you gave me breathing room for the last 8 months, but I'm taking over the property again. I'm not going to allow that to happen. So what do? I say, hey, in exchange for helping you out over here in this situation, to be comfortable to do that, I need to be on title to the property. Because I tell them, I'm like, hey, if I solve the problems over here, which I'm glad that we can solve the problems for you, and I start making the payments for you, and I don't have anything protection-wise to show for it, you can just come back and say, hey, Jason, man, I just put you on my Christmas list. You're going to get a fruitcake this Christmas from me. Really appreciate all the help you gave me. And pound salt, Jason. That is not going to happen, folks. Okay. So hear me when I say this. That is not going to happen. I'm never going to finalize a subject to transaction without my most important document, which is them transferring title to me. Now, when I say that, I know as you're listening here and, you've read some articles, you're in some Facebook groups, and hey, now if you transfer title, the bank could do a due on sale clause. It's in their deed of trust that they signed when they originally bought the house, Jason. Correct. Been a banker. Okay. I've been a banker for 27 years. You're right. In the deed of trust that a homeowner signs, usually in there, in the document, it states, if there's any transfer of title, then we can invoke the due on sale clause where they can give you X amount of time to quit claim it back or remedy the situation, or they could just say, hey, you didn't comply. So now we're going to call the loan due and you got to pay us off. Right. That could happen. I'm telling you, it could happen. Okay. But I can also tell you in 27 years of banking, I've only seen it happen one time. And it was actually an investor that just took the loan that they got out of their personal name, quit claimed it to their company name, because they heard that gives them an extra layer of protection. And the bank found out about it and said, hey, transfer it back. They didn't force the note due, but they said, hey, change it back. But I always tell people this: if you're making your payments on time, which it's kind of a novelty at this point, a lot of people are missing payments. So I'm telling you right now, in my experience, again, consult with the attorney in your state and do what's ever proper for you and blah, blah, blah. There's my disclaimer. But I haven't seen it happen but one time in 27 years, and I've been a speaker on guidelines for 2 decades. And so I've been involved in a lot of these transactions. If you're paying the note on time, usually no one bothers you, just to let you know. But you want to add a layer of security on title if you're giving money, starting to making payments on the homeowner's behalf. That is one of my most important documents. Now, as promised, having said that, what I like to do, instead of doing all this stuff and signing all this paperwork, I just make it pretty straightforward. I'm like, in exchange for me giving you this amount of money or taking over payments to solve whatever situation it is, I simply need to be on title. And so what we do is we just come to an agreement, and I have a closing statement drawn up by the title company for the monies that they're receiving from me, and the monies that they're receiving from me. And then when I'm at the title company is going to put me on title. Now I feel comfortable. They release the money to the homeowner or whatever we're doing with it to make sure everything's good and whole, and I'm done. I like to streamline it. There's a lot of people out there in the marketplace that say you need 15 different documents to close out a subject to transaction. I've done several of them over the years. The way that I'm speaking to you right now, I've done it with extra layers of paperwork in there, and I just went over a few of those with you. But as long as I'm on title and both parties agree and this and that, and I feel comfortable, then absolutely, beyond a shadow of a doubt, I just streamline it and make it easy for the homeowner. And by the way, if the homeowner's talking to multiple people and somebody says, you need to sign these 18 documents, and I say, hey, here's 3 documents that we need to sign, who do you think's going to get the deal? You understand that, right? I'm trying to help you here. Okay. I'm trying to help you here. So these are the documents that are needed, or potentially needed. Okay. Depending on the transaction, to get a subject to deal locked up, have your interest in the property, and control that property without having to buy it. So, if you liked what we delivered, then absolutely click the like button. And then if you want more information on anything we're saying, just comment on it or comment what you liked about the video and subscribe. And then again, as always, share it with other investors. We're here to listen to what you're looking for and deliver more good information to you. And as always, we would love to talk to you and help you grow your real estate investment business. So this is Jason Palliser talking to you about what we do and some documents that could be needed or that we utilize to close out a subject to transaction. See you on the next video. Bye. Hey, here's what I want you to do. Let's take your learning to another level. I know you have questions, so schedule a call with me. Go to 2daycall.com, fill out a form, and get on my calendar so I can help you start closing deal after deal and answer all your questions to put you on a path to predictable closings.